Yeah, I should start flying hawks. Just like out to take a hawk out to faction warfare with a Tristan. See if they fuck with me. The only people who'll come will like be big crews, you know. They'll see a hawk and they'll come for me though. I know how it works. Hawks are fairly limited in what they actually are good for. Hawks are good for running level 2s, and I kind of need to do Mimitar stuff, but I mean, they're not as good as other ships. I took a bad Mimitar hit the other day on, yeah, my security status, or not, yeah, not my security status, yeah, is it security status? Yeah, no, it's not security status, but it's, my standings with Galente and Mimitar have significantly reduced, and I'm thinking that I maybe should go run level 2s in a Gila, or I don't know how to get that. But I should run Galente and Mimitar level 2s, but I mean, it's a whole process, and I don't want to. I could do it in a Hawk, but it requires attention. Gila lets you sort of mind, you know, it sort of lets you just, like, ignore it. Maybe I should just get a Gila. I'll get a Gila on the first. I mean, I own a Gila, but I don't have the fittings for it. On the first, I'll gear up a Gila, and I'll take it to improve all of my standings to 5, in case I need to break them, you know.
Trader Rect is closing shortly, so finish your damn business or come back tomorrow, if you're still alive.
I love this game. Every single... I can tell that the ethos of the developers were that other developers suck dick and don't care about your happiness. We do. And so every little aspect of it...
I'll sell you goods. Congratulations. But if you cross me, here's your reward. Meet the wrong end of my 44.
Okay, I'll have to drop something. I guess this... this... Crushed... I didn't turn in time. Damn it. Damn it. Oh well. Why did you bump me way the fuck over here? Whoa, what? Okay. What was that? Did I get hit? Yeah, I did. I have a snake and a zombie on me. Damn it, you keep fucking with my aim. It's annoying. That sucks. So, where is the base, damn it? Where's my bike? Oh, no. So, my bike is unclaimed because it's inside there, but I can go get it the next day, I guess. Tomorrow, I have the Horde. Um. Oh, it was just wasn't putting it away. That's what it is. I don't know. Potassium nitrate. Gotta make more arrows. Oh, I need I have 2 splints. I want to put one away. Coal. I don't know where this stuff's supposed to go. I'm just gonna drop it here because I don't want to deal with it anymore. I don't know. I should do all that stuff too. Oh, rotting flesh goes in there? Okay. Oh no, I need some rock. I'm gonna take a little bit of rock for myself here. I'm learning how this game works now. Yep. Okay, what next? Now I chop those trees. Where's my big axe? I want the big axe on the bar. I didn't really realize. So, yep, there. And then, but I do, and I want that to be my usable block thing. So, oh yeah. I forgot what I was doing earlier. Okay, it's time to go buy fire crystals. What? I'm gonna turn this off now. It was good for a minute, but it's the same old music and I'd rather hear something else. I think I'm gonna put on something else. One of the nice things about display adapter games is I can go back to watching videos again, and OBS doesn't dominate my life. You know, the dangerous world of chiropractors sounds good. Let's start with Oompaville. Did I watch the PDF? Elden Ring review bomb. Oh, Elden Ring review bomb. Tom. Let's watch this first, and then we'll do Why Sog Doesn't Like Trust Opera GX and Oompaville and Papa Meat. And yeah, maybe Tyler Oliveira. I don't know if I'll get through all of this in 4 hours. I probably just won't. Ooh, some more news. And I doubt I can do all that, but I mean, and I wouldn't even mind Luke Stevens. Yeah, Luke Stevens would be okay, but I mean, we're going to start there. We're going to go...
This video was brought to you by Surfshark VPN. Stick
loud for some reason. Sorry.
Around to the end of the video for a special offer they're making available through...
Gonna make it on the screen.
Did you happen to stop by for the 12-hour charity live stream we ran over the weekend? If not, you missed out, let me tell you. You missed Greg Miller from Kinda Funny reading out the name of every erotic visual novel listed on Steam. You missed Alana Pierce bombing into a live Q&A of the Friends Per Second podcast. You missed the voices of Clive Rosfield, Lady Dimitrescu, and Shadowheart all doing a live reading of the 1999 Sonic the Hedgehog animated movie script. You miss Austin and Edmund in the studio. Sadly, Stu could not be there because geography is a bitch. Most importantly, you missed us raising $60,000 for groundbreaking cancer research for Game on Cancer. Incredibly proud of that result and thankful to all of the people who donated. One person just
shout out to Skill Up for the excellent content for my stream. I've liked this sub to your channel. Thank you.
Damn, 10K. Absolutely insane. It really was a terrific day, and if you did miss it, then don't worry because the VOD is now live on my channel, so feel free to check that out at your leisure. If you did miss it, I suspect I know why. You were playing some Shadow of the Erdtree, weren't you? Yeah, you were. I see you.
Nope.
Let me ask you this, though. Were you having fun?
No.
Well, I never thought I'd say this, but the latest FromSoft release is getting review bombed for it being too hard. Okay, that's only half the story, so let's take it from the top. As you will no doubt be aware, Shadow of the Erdtree launched last week to critical acclaim. And when I say critical acclaim, I mean it's a 94 on OpenCritic, the highest rated DLC in the history of DLCs, eclipsing The Witcher 3's Blood and Wine expansion, which achieved a 92. 9s and 10s all round with one notable outlier, Eurogamer. Their reviewers scored the expansion a still respectable 3 out of 5, but they hadn't the affection for it that they had for the base game. They decried the approach to narrative, which is a lot more overt this time around, something I loved, but I can see how a lore enthusiast might find it a little too handholdy. The section of the review that garnered the most attention, though, was about difficulty. Here's what the reviewer had to say, quote, "This, however, feels like difficulty for difficulty's sake, turned up to 11, perhaps because with the added expectations of a DLC having something extra absurd to conquer, even though it technically doesn't require finishing the core game. I go through dozens of deaths over a period of several days, and despite taking breaks to go off and do other things and explore other areas, I realize that I just don't want to do this anymore."
No, I don't want to do this
anymore. So you
anymore.
can imagine how the initial reception to this review went down. Lots of angry tweets, Reddit threads, all of them dunking on this person.
I don't want to do this anymore.
They just need to get good, right?
No.
Well, fast forward to the actual release of the game 3 days later, and large sections of the player base are singing a very different tune about the tuning of this DLC. On Steam, Shadow of the Erdtree sits at a mixed 64%, an unheard of score for a FromSoft release, and a far cry from being the highest rated DLC of all time. Now, to be clear, many of the negative reviews are focused squarely on PC performance, an issue that appears to be equally present on consoles. Now, for me personally, I reviewed this on a high-end PC and I had zero problems, but I do distinctly remember a similar thing happening with the release of the base game.
I had no problems.
Reviewers had very few technical issues on their machines, but when the game went live, it became clear that there were a lot of optimization issues affecting both console and PC performance. Many of those issues were tidied up in the 2 years since release, but somehow they've returned, and more than a few of the Steam reviews recommend holding off on a purchase until some performance patches have rolled through. More interestingly, though, is the deluge of negative reviews pointing to the difficulty tuning as the reason they couldn't recommend the DLC. Here's some examples of quote, "This DLC is the epitome of difficulty for difficulty's sake. Around the world, there are large numbers of enemies who act like bosses. They do not flinch, have combos lasting the better part of 5 minutes, or until your health is empty, which won't take long because even with good armor, good health, good defensive talismans, spells, etc., and 11 scattered tree blessings, they will still melt you within the first 3 strikes." End quote. Another wrote, quote, "Everything will kill you in 2 hits, and you will need to DPS check the bosses with Mimic tier 2.
They don't know how to spec. They don't know how to spec.
Once modders nerf it to playable levels. What happened to difficulty?
Oh my god.
Pacing? Please, for the love of God, let us go back to that." End quote.
Well, I'm gonna pause this. I need to find my bike, and I don't see it. it seems like it's white now for some reason, which is like really weird. Did it like kick it outside or whatever? What happened? What happened? Oh no, I let the bike at the oh, there it is. There it is.
Your inventory is full.
Oh yeah, my inventory problems. I've got to go deal with that. Okay, so sorry. I just wanted to be sure I found my bike here. Yeah, so I want to get my bike because it sucks walking around. I don't even want to walk around in this game. Walking around's cool, but not long distances. It's annoying. Oh, look, it's all foggy today. Fuck yeah. I love how they're working with actual fucking, like, weather effects. Look, it's fucking sweet.
Your inventory is full.
I know, I'm getting there. Hold on.
You're welcome here if you
Great.
shut the
Here
fuck
you
up and
go.
buy something. Don't spend it all in one place.
Let's do the tier 2 infested
Listen
clear.
up, jackass.
Word of advice. Next time, leave.
Shut up, you. Now we go to this infested clear. Now that it's daytime, I get to blow some ammo. Yep. And, you know, well, you know, no, I'm okay. But what am I missing? I'm missing something. I better take, like, some stew with me. Oh, and I need to plant the trees before I go. Yeah, I want to take some stew with me, so if it becomes a problem, I'm going to eat some, well, I don't know, how am I now? Oh, I'm okay for a while. So, let's get some processed food of this stew variety. We'll carry, like, 2 of them. I don't know. Oh, there we go. Yeah, 4 of them or whatever. Yeah, 4 of them. Yep. There we go. 4 stew will do. Yep, 4 stew will do. 4 stew will do. Yes. Looking good. Looking like arrows and stuff. Yep. We use arrows on single targets, and when I get clumps, okay. So, oops. Oh, you can lock this thing, can you? That's dumb. I don't know. Or no, we'll keep it like 4. That way my bike doesn't get stolen.
Your inventory is full.
Ooh, what's that? What?
Your inventory is full.
Oh God, you gotta stop. You gotta stop. Please stop. Please stop this stupid shit. Go to storage. Start dumping all that stupid shit. Yeah, all of it. All of it. All of it. Go. Ice, water, rock salt, dark, goblin, mithril sheets. Right, I gotta post all of those. I totally spaced it. So now, fire crystals. First thing we do is we send an entire inventory of fire crystals to my main. good. Oh, actually, I'm gonna turn the video back on now. I just was like kind of distracted. I couldn't see.
Last one put it rather succinctly, saying, quote, "Thanks everyone for saying the base game was easy. I hate this," end quote. It's definitely led to a huge amount of discourse online, with many people agreeing that FromSoft have gone too far here.
I want to
Using
play
too
this
much health
game.
and speed while making their combo attacks too long, providing too few openings for us to attack. Others disagree, saying that the DLC is supposed to be a pinnacle
Ridiculous.
challenge that pushes players to new heights after conquering the base game and unlocking a full arsenal of gear, and as such the DLC is right where it needs to be. The thing is, and I thought about this a lot while I was reviewing this, it must have been exceptionally difficult for FromSoft to balance Elden Ring's DLC, because the power differential that exists between a bad build and a good build is now absolutely absurd. Between legendary weapons like Moonveil and Blasphemous Blade, status effects like Bleed and Frostbite, buffs like Golden Vow and Flame give me strength, 4 talisman slot that provide multiplicative benefit, Ashes of War of which there are dozens, and Spirit Ashes as strong as the Mimic tier. Just think about a weak character not using any of that stuff versus a strong character using all of it, and then try to tune boss difficulty in that context. It would be next to impossible. That is why the Scattered Tree Fragment system exists. They're collectibles that make your character stronger, and you get them by just exploring the world. It's a point not unsubtly made by FromSoft themselves. They released an official guide this week that made clear that Scattered Tree Fragments are important, and you should collect them. Bandai Namco's Twitter account made the same point when they said, quote, "This is a suggestion to level up your Scattered Tree Blessing," end quote. So yeah, there it is. It is a fascinating response to a FromSoft game, since these games are typically lauded for their difficulty. Personally, I think things will calm down as people unlock more Scattered Tree Fragments.
And they get vigor, get vigor.
As for the merits of a load-bearing system like that, I do...
I told him. No, I screwed this up. I think I kind of screwed this up. I'm gonna do some of them at that price, but I'm gonna do all of them at 5601. They're not selling. Look, they're not selling at all. They are not reliable in anywhere from. They want a cheaper price, and I think I should be that person. Let's let them have it for 12 because they're 5. I will post for 5, and when they see 5, they'll buy all of it. Yep. And I'll make a whole lot off of Mithril. And I think I will. I'm gonna try and corner the market here. I've decided what I'm gonna do with the rest of my money. I'm gonna go corner the Mithril market here for a little while, because I can get 12 times 5 is yeah, per stack of Mithril ingots I can get sheets. 12 times 5 is 72. Right? Or is it 64? Oh no, 12 times 5 is 64. I'm sorry, no, it's 12 times 5 is 60. 12 times 5 is 60. So it's 60,000 a stack at 5. And 60,000 is a really good profit for Mithril. So I'll just do the work of making Mithril. I now have a better idea how to make money. I'm breaking through here. I sat there and I processed copper for too long. It's time to make some real money for my time. But it took me a while to see what the hustle was. And now I see it. I'm gonna place a bunch of 5,000 and 5,001. Yeah. I'm gonna place like 3 more stacks between my alts and all this. Yep. And she sent all of these to the main, right? I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go receive so that she can send 8 more, and I'm gonna stick like a stack of 8 away so I don't even have to log to my alt anymore, and then I'll send 8 more. And I mean, this is the goddamn Final Fantasy struggle. I wish they had made it easier.
Look forward to further discussion on that front, since I wasn't a huge fan of that system, and it was one of the more disappointing aspects of the DLC for me. Alright, so that's the Erdtree backlash. What else went down this week? Well, Matt Booty of Xbox is still doing damage control around the decision to close Tango Gameworks, makers of the Evil Within, Ghostwire Tokyo, and Hi-Fi Rush. This closure happened at the same time as the closure of other studios, including Arcane Austin. That one stung, but it did kind of make sense on some level, since Redfall was easily the lowest quality first-party Xbox release this generation, and there were reports that the studio had experienced considerable talent drain over the years as staff exited what they saw was a doomed project. Speaking to Variety during a podcast, Matt Booty more than insinuated that a similar talent drain had occurred at Tango Gameworks, and that was at least a contributing factor in their decision to close the studio. Quote, "I think the thing to be considered is that for us, it's as much a forward-looking situation as much as it is looking back at one certain game. There are lots of things that go into success for a game. You know, what leadership do you have? What creative leadership do you have? Is the team the same team that shipped something successful previously? And we have to look at all those things together and then ask ourselves, are we set up for success going forward? And while there may have been factors and situations that previously led to success, they may not still be in place as you look at what you're doing going forward," end quote. He is no doubt referring to the departure of studio boss Shinji Mikami, the legendary game maker who founded Tango but left last year to start a new venture that would focus on nurturing young talent, something Mikami has been very publicly committed to in the later part of his career, including while at Tango Gameworks. No doubt his departure from the studio would have been a big loss, but it's important to remember that the studio's 2 most successful games, The Evil Within 2 and Hi-Fi Rush,
Hey, what
weren't
time is
directed
it?
by Mikami.
It's already
They were
9
directed
a.m.
by
on
one
day
John
28.
Johannes, someone who was clearly ready and willing to continue working with the studio. We know this because he was tweeting his reaction to the closure news, at one point tweeting a photo of all of the awards Hi-Fi Rush had racked up, captioning it, "Not enough?" A response to Matt Booty himself, who earlier said that Microsoft needs small games for prestige and awards. A truly ridiculous thing to say out loud. Further
If
to
I'm
all
gonna
of this,
play for
Tango
6
Gameworks staff members were
hours-
publicly rebutting the suggestion that the studio had suffered a terminal talent drain.
I would
By
just
all
do the
accounts,
Horde
it
Night.
seems as though there were enough people to keep the ship sailing. But then you got Matt Booty suggesting that that wasn't the case. We obviously don't know who to believe in this situation, but I find it very difficult to believe that a studio that had for so long produced solid to excellent video games could suddenly collapse in a way that Microsoft felt that the only option available to them was to close the studio. That story just doesn't make sense, and unless Matt Booty and co are willing to provide more information, I'm far more inclined to believe the actual developers, who clearly believe that Tango Gameworks still had plenty of life left in it. Speaking of Xbox, something funny seems to be going on with the Xbox port of Black Myth Wukong. So eagle-eyed observers may have noted that the most recent trailer for Black Myth Wukong, which aired during the Summer Games Fest, did not have the Xbox logo present, despite being announced for an Xbox release on August 20th, same as for PS5 and PC.
Interesting.
So that was obviously a little strange, but it started to make a whole lot of sense when last week the developer Game Science updated their FAQ on their website with new information about platform release dates. They said, quote, "PC and PS5 users can enjoy the full game starting August 20th, 2024. We are currently optimizing the Xbox Series XS versions to meet our quality standards, so it won't release simultaneously with other platforms. We apologize for the delay and aim to minimize the wait for Xbox users. We will announce the release date as soon as it meets our quality standards," end quote. At first glance, this might have seemed like a bit of a familiar tale. The same song and dance we saw play out with Baldur's Gate 3, where Xbox Series S creates a bottleneck that developers struggle to squeeze through in time for launch. That was famously resolved by Xbox waiving their feature parity requirement for Baldur's Gate 3, allowing the game to ship without local co-op. That was a real sweetheart deal, though, driven in no small part by the fact that Baldur's Gate 3 was
Intellect,
a
man.
generation-defining CRPG that was achieving both critical and commercial success on a scale that Xbox just couldn't miss out on. Black Myth Wukong isn't on the same level, at least not so far.
Nope.
But even if it were, it may not even be possible for Microsoft to bend the rules even if they wanted to. That's because there may be some sort of agreement between Sony and Game Science that's delaying the launch of the game on Xbox hardware. Now, I will stress this is unconfirmed, and we've reached out to both Game Science and Sony for comment. No response at the time of recording, but both IGN and Windows Central reached out to Microsoft for a comment on this situation. They didn't seem to make any reference to exclusivity deals in their line of questioning, and so it was a bit strange when Xbox responded thusly, quote, "We're excited for the launch of Black Myth Wukong on Xbox Series XS, and we're working with Game Science to bring the game to our platforms. We can't comment on the deals made by our partners with other platform holders, But we remain focused on making Xbox the best platform for gamers, and great games are at the center of that, end quote. So again, no one seemed to ask about any deals, and yet here's Microsoft saying they can't comment on deals. It seems to indicate that they are aware of the commercial deal that's stopping Black Myth Wukong from arriving on Xbox, but they don't want to say it aloud because Game Science and Sony haven't disclosed any such deal, and it's not their place to make that sort of announcement. It's very deliberate language that is designed to send up a flare, and it's definitely caught plenty of people's attention, given that Black Myth Wukong is currently the most wishlisted game on Steam after a very positive round of previews coming out of Summer Games Fest. A lot of eyes on this title, and many Xbox fans eagerly awaiting some clarification. Let's hope it comes soon. A quick lightning round to finish off. Square Enix says they're still committed to making indie games. This confirmation comes after Square Enix announced a strategic pivot towards fewer, higher quality games. When quizzed about this during a shareholders meeting, CEO Takashi Kiryu said, quote, "We define indie games as casual, small to medium scale games. We are working hard on those too. I can't name specific titles at the moment, but our development pipeline does not only include major titles. Indie game development should not be ruled out," end quote. That's good news, since there's only so many times you can re-release, remake, or spin off a Final Fantasy game, and some of Square's best output over the last decade have been smaller indie titles. Looking at you, Power Wash Simulator. Speaking of Square Enix, they seem to be changing their tune when it comes to generative AI. Square's management have been quick to jump on tech fads in the past, like their plans to go balls deep on NFTs before the bottom fell out of that, and they were forced to walk back some of their more bullish language. The same thing seems to be happening here in relation to AI. Speaking of the same shareholder meeting, the CEO said, quote, "AI itself has tremendous potential, however, there's also many risks involved. We have introduced a flow whereby AI-related tools are used internally only after being properly examined," end quote. This is a far cry from his comments earlier in the year when he said that Square would be, quote, "aggressive in applying AI and other cutting-edge technologies to both our content development and our publishing functions," end quote. Give it another 6 months and Square Enix is going to be like, "AI? What's that? We never said we liked AI, we hate AI." Either that or they'll just sweep it under the rug and pretend it never existed like they did with that NFT stuff. Speaking of pretending that NFT stuff never existed, Ubisoft assures us that Beyond Good and Evil 2 still exists. Always concerning when you need to constantly reaffirm something like that. Being in development for over a decade...
Oh my god, they're still doing Beyond Good and Evil. Oh, come on.
The Beyond Good and Evil Twitter account said this, quote, "Yes, Beyond Good and Evil 2 is still in development, and we cannot wait for you to discover more about Jade's past in the 20th
Oh my god.
Looking forward to hearing that
was a fun game.
Exists sometime in the future."
I love that game.
Disrespect has been fired from the game studio that he founded. Midnight Society are currently hard at work building an NFT game, ew, but when allegations emerged last week that the doc was booted from Twitch for sexting a minor, the studio committed to exploring those allegations. They didn't furnish any proof in relation to the matter, but they obviously saw something that made them immediately sever ties with the man who was not only the studio founder and funder, but also the main promotion platform for the game they were developing. Update. I wrote that yesterday when, at the time, the doc himself had not directly refuted the claims about his interactions with a minor. Overnight, though, he did confirm that he exchanged inappropriate texts with a minor, and then he tried to edit out the word minor from his statement before editing it back in. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude, you know we can see all of these edits, right? The doc had earlier announced an indefinite break from streaming, but in his Twitter statement, he promised that he would one day return. Reading the replies and the retweets, there doesn't seem to be much excitement for the idea of a comeback, with even his most ardent public supporters condemning his actions, as well they should. In case it wasn't already bleedingly obvious, Sony appear to be all but done with the PSVR 2. Android Central are reporting that sources close to the situation say that Sony are effecting deep cuts to their PSVR investment. Quote, "My sources told me that there were very few opportunities for VR game development at Sony going forward. Another source informed me that only 2 PSVR 2 games are in development at Sony," end quote. It's a sad outcome, but not at all surprising, as Sony seemed to basically abandon the hardware almost as soon as it shipped, providing like one first-party release since launch. I don't know, maybe 2, I can't think of the other one. The PSVR 2 may find new life as a PC peripheral since Sony just released an adapter that makes that possible, but even then, the next generation of VR headsets from places like Meta or Valve will immediately render the PSVR 2 obsolete. Crazy to imagine that the Virtual Boy seems to have had a longer shelf life than the PSVR 2. As physical media becomes harder to come by, limited run games are doing the Lord's work by ensuring that digital releases get the physical editions they deserve. They just hosted a webinar where they announced physical editions for a bunch of games including Sea Smash, Hitman Blood Money Reprisal, Rain World, and Star Wars Dark Forces Remastered. They also announced re-releases for a bunch of games including the Gex Trilogy, Tom Special Edition, And a personal favorite
Gex
of
is
mine,
good.
Fear Effect. That game absolutely
Yeah,
ruled.
Fear Effect was
Loved to
sweet.
know
I
that
love
I
Fear
played
Effect.
all these years
Fear
ago.
Effect was
Lara
so
Croft
good,
expected
yeah.
Dead by Daylight? Sure.
Fear
why not? There's no
Effect.
gameplay yet, but there are some screenshots, and yep, that's definitely Lara Croft, alright. No date for this yet, but it should be pretty soon. Looks like we're about to get a new Red Faction game. 3 guesses who fucked that one up. Okay, you're probably gonna need 1 guess. Embracer Group strikes again. An all-new Red Faction game was reportedly in development at Fish Labs. Apparently they got a visual prototype up and running, but when it came time to greenlight the pitch, Embracer Group voted it down, meaning the game never got off the ground, and everyone at Fish Labs not assigned to other projects was laid off. Classic Embracer Group. Every single week, a new story about how they fuck something up. I swear I've spent more time chronicling their bullshit than I have the entire NFT craze, and we did a lot of coverage on that back in the day, mind you. Bad news for Bandai Namco, they just saw their first loss in the history of the company. The previous financial year saw a loss.
Did I
of
go
$4
really
billion
far out
yen,
of the
with most
way?
that
No,
being
this was
attributed
just
to the
really
flop of
far.
Blue Protocol. It's currently Japan-only MMO, as well as that Gundam Evolution game, which came and went in what felt like a matter of weeks. Bandai Namco Online is now facing insolvency, and a number of in-development titles have been scrapped. That Elden Ring expansion really couldn't have come at a better time for Bandai Namco. Some sales data to finish off. Shin Megami Tensei Vengeance has found itself a big audience beyond the Switch hardware. The game has now sold a combined 1.6 million units across all platforms, with 500k of that coming from non-Switch platforms in just the first 3 days of sale. 1.6 million is nice and all, but have you heard how well the Crash Insane trilogy has sold? 20 million
Crash
units.
Insane?
20 million units. That's
Wait,
insane.
I'm going the wrong way. I don't really understand why I
Resident
can't seem
Evil
to
2
find my way
Remake just
home.
passed 13.9 million units sold, making it the single highest selling game in the series, even higher than Umbrella Corp? That's right. I know that's tough to believe, but it's true. And finally, Microsoft Flight Simulator has just passed 15 million players, helped in no small part by the fact that it's on Game Pass. I wonder how many of those people did what I did. Booted it up, tried to take off, couldn't figure out any of the buttons, and then just logged straight off. Sound off in the comments if that's you too. So what got announced or delayed this week? Well, I mentioned a moment ago, but Beyond Good and Evil is getting a special 20th anniversary re-release. It's the original game, but touched up in the ways you might expect. 4K 60 FPS and a remastered musical score. It also features some new content, including a new mission that creates a narrative link to the sequel, which definitely exists, as Ubisoft likes to remind us. The 20th anniversary remaster arrives on all platforms today. Power Wash Simulator gets a second mention this episode because they're just about to release a special Alice in Wonderland themed DLC drop. Will we get to Power Wash the Cheshire Cat's stupid smile? Man, I hope so, otherwise I'm going to feel cool, Rob. This is paid DLC and it arrives on July 2nd. Pepper Grinder from Devolver Digital got some fantastic reviews when it released a little while ago for PC and Switch. It is now headed to PlayStation and Xbox. It'll arrive on those platforms on August 6th. Really recommend checking this one out if you enjoyed the second Ori game, since this one is doing very similar things with how you move through the levels. Want to tame monsters without making them fight each other in some sick explosive blood sport that's a little better than underground cockfighting? Well, don't play Pokemon, obviously, for those reasons and many more. Play Creatures of Ava instead, a game about partnering with animals to help you progress through an expansive and mysterious world. This one actually looks really interesting, both visually and in terms of the idea of using the local fauna as a sort of Metroidvania upgrade system. If you're keen to check it out, it's arriving on PC and Xbox on August 7th, and it will be on Game Pass. Epic Mickey Rebrushed is a top-to-bottom remaster of the classic Warren Spector-led platform adventure game starring Mickey and a bunch of Disney characters that time forgot. This was a very big surprise to see this one revealed a little while ago, since much like the characters the game is based on, this one is often overlooked. Still, it's nice to see it getting another go-around, and on September 24th, it'll arrive on all platforms. And finally, Lords of the Fallen is getting another shot. The first game was one of the first
Lords of the
efforts to emulate
Fallen.
the formula laid down by
Are
FromSoft.
you fucking
It did not
serious?
go very well, but for some reason the publisher wanted to keep the dream alive, releasing
Look at what's
an
happening
all-new
to New
game
World.
with
Do you
the
guys
same
think all
name
these
last
3D,
year,
like, sorry, all these
also did not go so
third person
well, despite some
ARPGs
staggering
are
visuals and some
maybe the
dope
best
environmental
idea?
design.
All
Games
these
just didn't deliver on
Souls
the
likes.
combat
Look at what's
and
happening to
front
New
of the line
World.
games like this
I think you
did
need
too.
to
Still, it did
evolve.
sell a bunch of copies, enough to justify a sequel, it seems. Because last week, Epic Games announced that they had secured the publishing rights to the game on PC.
Epic?
Which will launch sometime in
Epic.
2026.
Epic
Still,
wants
they're funded by
Lords of the
CI
Fallen.
Games, but the
Of
development
course
is
they
as
do.
yet unconfirmed.
Oh no, maybe they'll make
Hopefully,
it better.
don't make this
Epic
an
wants to make a
exclusive,
Souls
because
like,
this
huh?
is like Alan Wake
Okay.
2, a game for hardcore nerds who already have established game libraries.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
none
why
of them
not?
are going to suddenly switch over to Epic because a Souls like they're interested in is exclusive. Furthermore, this is a sequel to a game that got middling reviews, and if this franchise is going to build momentum, Steam is going to be the place where you're going to be able to reach the maximum number of players. TLDR, put this game on Steam, Tim Sweeney. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk and most likely ignoring it. One delisting announcement for this week, and it kind of stings. Forza Horizon 4 is about to be delisted from digital storefronts on December 15th, to be precise. This is, of course, due to the wonder and majesty of digital rights and how poorly they are negotiated when it comes to video games. Movies continue to be sold in perpetuity because the contracts permit that, but car and music companies are unwilling to negotiate the same sort of deal as video games. They'd rather see the games entirely removed from sale than figure out a way to make money over the longer term. Very smart, guys. Anyway, Forza Horizon 4 is one of the good ones. It's set in England and it gave the franchise a lot of momentum. A real shame to see it disappear like that, but at least those who already purchased it will still be able to play it. And like I said, you still have until December 15th if you want to grab it on digital platforms. So what came out last week? Well, other than Erdtree, which we already covered in the intro, there wasn't a whole lot. That Riven remake arrived though, and shock horror, Riven is still good all these years later. No Steam reviews for it yet, but it's debuted at an extremely impressive mighty 87 on OpenCritic. PC Gamer scored it a 90, a very high score for them. They said of it, quote, Riven's as captivating in 2024 as it's ever been. It's an inventive puzzle game that demands an intense yet unhurried commitment and then lavishly rewards those who give it. It's a vibrant alien world layered with lore and secrets. It has plenty of new twists and old solutions that will surprise its biggest fans, but still appears seamlessly integrated to everyone else. This is how you remake a classic, end quote. Gaming Trend went a step further, scoring at a perfect 100 and saying, quote, each puzzle tells you something about the overall story and the people in it, and in that discovery, the drive to keep going. Yes, it's beautiful, it sounds wonderful, but that's not the part that'll hook you. No, the mysterious place that Cyan Worlds has created will pull you in and hold you for the 15 to 20 hours it takes you to unravel everything it has to offer. Given just how much love and attention they've put into this masterpiece, it's wonderful to experience it all over again, end quote. Very nice to see how well this has held up all these years later. Only other major release, if you can call it that, was Super Monkey Ball Banana Rumble. Now this one actually comes from RGG, the studio that makes the Like a Dragon games.
I love Super Monkey Ball.
In the Monkey Ball series, something that doesn't come along too often, since most of the releases you see are actually re-releases and bundles. But no, this is a new game, and it supports both local co-op and online multiplayer up to 16 players. On OpenCritic, it's landed at a strong 77, which isn't too shabby. BGC scored this one a 3 out of 5, saying, quote, it's sure to pass the time, and fans of Monkey Ball will welcome the addition of 200
Monkey Ball
playthrough, but the reduced performance, especially in battle mode, and the general lack of party minigames makes this a by-the-numbers addition to a much-loved series, end quote. Most reviews point to the fact that this isn't doing a whole lot of new stuff, so if you do already have one of those previous releases or re-releases, maybe you've already got all the Monkey Ball you need. So what's coming out this week? Well, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD arrives tomorrow, exclusive to the Switch, of course. This one is much less beloved than the first or third entries, but it's still a good time if you're willing to put up with its rough edges. This was originally exclusive to the 3DS and has received a nice glow-up courtesy of the Switch hardware. Stray Gods is that musical RPG that released a little while ago to solid reviews, particularly for the strength of its voice cast and the game's soundtrack. It's getting some DLC tomorrow titled Orpheus, and unsurprisingly, it's centered on Orpheus, this time played by Anthony Rapp, and it features even more music from the especially talented Austin Wintory. That one is available on all platforms. Biggest release of the week, no doubt, is Final Fantasy XIV's Dawn Trail expansion. A lot less hype for the release of this expansion than there was for Endwalker when it dropped 2 years ago, but back then Final Fantasy was at the absolute peak of its popularity owing to a mass exodus from World of Warcraft that had MMO fans looking for an alternative. That and the fact that Final Fantasy XIV is just a brilliant game, so it deserves it.
It is, it's a great game,
also
but
less
it's
thematically climactic than the last. Endwalker was the conclusion of a 10-year saga, while Dawn Trail is deliberately positioning itself as a bit of a vacation, gently setting up the next major story arc that's about to unfold. It features an entirely new MSQ to work through, new regions to explore, new gear to collect, but most importantly, 2 new jobs, the physical DPS Viper class and the ranged Pictomancer, who literally paints stuff to deal damage and buff allies. That was a job introduced back in Final Fantasy VI, only revisited in the mobile Brave Exvius. And since Final Fantasy XIV fans are generally into the weird, obscure, deep-cut Final Fantasy jobs, there's a lot of excitement for this one. Dawn Trail arrives on July 2nd, and I will sadly not be playing it since I'm still busy with Destiny 2, and that's going to keep me busy for a while yet. When I get bored of that though, I may want to check out The First Descendant. Maybe? Probably not. It's a free-to-play looter shooter from Nexon. It's in Unreal Engine 5, so it does look nice, but my time with this in the past didn't leave me super hyped to play much more of it. That was a long time ago though, so there's every chance it's come a long way since then. But yeah, it's a third-person action shooter thing that's a little bit of Warframe, a little bit of Destiny, and a whole lot of what you'd expect from a game like this. It's free to play though, so the barrier to entry is low. It arrives on all platforms by the Switch on July 2nd. And finally, Resident Evil 7 arrives for Mac and iOS devices on July 2nd. Interestingly, buying it on
Resident
Mac
Evil
also gives you
7
access to the
finally
iOS
hit
device
Mac.
backup and backups. Alright, if you enjoyed
Why do
Lorelei
people
and the
use
laser
Mac
eyes and you're looking
still?
for your next fix,
Fucking
then
Mac?
put this on your radar.
Fucking Mac. Fucking Mac, man. I guess, yeah. Mac and Linux are probably better than Windows, but still. Mac?
Sure, we get plenty of roguelikes. In fact, we get like 15 of them a week. But it's rare that we get a puzzle roguelike. That's a cool premise, right? Seeing how much of a mystery you can solve in a single run before being pushed back to the start, ready to do it all over again with the benefit of your prior learnings. Time loop games like 12 Minutes and The Forgotten City do this, but this game, Blueprints, is not a time loop game. It is a much more traditional roguelike where your progress as you move through this mysterious shifting hotel is determined by your stamina, and when that runs out, you're back to square one. Puzzles themselves will get remixed on subsequent runs, keeping things fresh.
Ooh,
and there's so much to keep track of that you're very likely going to see some benefit out of keeping a notebook handy so you can jot down your discoveries, hence the comparisons to Lorelei. This one comes from a studio called Dogu Bomb, and it's published by Raw Fury, who have a very solid track record. There's no date for this one yet, but if you'd like to keep track of it, then I've left a link to it over on my Steam Curator page, which also has links to all of the other Put This On Your Radar stuff I've recently covered. I'll leave a link to all of that below the like button. Sort of free stuff time now, and it's the last week of the month, so be sure to grab those PS Plus offerings before they disappear.
Oh yeah, I need to get on Epic.
Frosted over on the Epic store. That's the donut making puzzle
Freshly
game.
frosted, okay. I'll go get it for free, yeah. Absolutely.
Your inventory is full.
Later in the week, though, that'll be replaced by Sunless Skies, a rather excellent narrative-led role-playing game that sees you navigating a futuristic gothic horror space train. This one sits at 90% very positive on Steam and a mighty 85.
Freshly frosted.
Definitely worth checking out if you've enjoyed stuff like last year's Dredge. Absolutely huge month this month for Prime Gaming as Amazon prepares for their annual Prime Day event that typically offers discounts on a bunch of items that suspiciously rose in price just a few weeks before the sale went live. But for us gamers, it's a whole different story since Uncle Jeff is just giving shit away willy-nilly. Over the next few weeks, you can get some serious video games, including Deceive Incorporated, Call of Juarez, the excellent Card Shark, the Souls-like Solstice, Hitman Absolution, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, and Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2. All of that and more can be yours if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber. They're rolling out over the next few weeks, so be sure to check back regularly so you can grab them when they're live. Our feel-good story for the week has to be one of my favorite moments from the charity stream that happened over the weekend. For the very first time, Austin, Edmund, and I were together on camera. Sadly, Stu couldn't be there, but we did miss him dearly. The three of us were joined by Soylent Cosplay, a local cosplayer who laid down a challenge for us. Using little more than foam and tissue paper, we had to adorn a mannequin in the regalia of the Witch Rani from Elden Ring. We had 15 minutes to do it, and we were in competition with the Back Pocket crew, who would have some different materials to do the same job. Now, we are far from cosplay experts. In fact, we can barely dress ourselves, let alone a mannequin. But through the power of jolly cooperation, we put together a Rani that we were proud of. I mean, just look at those faces right there in this photo. Absolutely beaming. When it came to the moment of judgment, though, the fates were not kind. The other team had produced a Rani that looked slightly better than ours. It was so obvious that the other team tried to let us down.
Even I don't think it's a draw, and I am one of the people, okay? So, I don't want your pity draw, alright, Pete's? Okay?
If you enjoyed that little clip, then there's plenty more where that came from. The full 12-hour-long VOD of the live stream is linked below.
12
You know what else is
hours.
linked below? The like button. It's right there, baby. So if you could give it a good smack, that'd be awesome. Same goes for the subscribe button and that notification bell. Got a few videos I'm dropping later this week based on some hands-on sessions I had at Summer Games Fest, so you won't want to miss out on those. For now, though, a big thanks for watching and a big thanks to this week's sponsor, Surfshark. Alright, let's get serious for a second. We live much of our lives online, especially nerds like us, be it the websites we frequent, our reliance on email and chat services, online shopping, whatever it is, it's a lot of time spent online, and all of it involves at least some or a lot of our personal data. So the question then becomes, what are we doing to secure that data? If the answer to that is nothing, then that's more than a little risky in 2024, when data scraping and hacking can see you at the very least put on some mailing lists you don't want to be on, and at worst, see the most sensitive personal information used for fraudulent purposes. Enter Surfshark VPN, the best means of protecting your online data, your passwords, your IP addresses, your personal information.
Satisfying.
And their clean web feature
Satisfying.
malicious websites, phishing methods, and other threats. Simply turn it on when you use the internet and you can browse knowing that you've really beefed up the security of your personal data. But of course, that's not all. It's great for consuming media too, since all the streaming services will geolock content, and Surfshark VPN allows you to bypass all of that. So if you want to watch shows that are only available in other countries and territories, Surfshark VPN is basically a must-have. You can use Surfshark on multiple devices at once, which is something that almost no other VPN allows. It's available on pretty much every platform you can think of. It has 24/7 customer support. Best of all, they're offering a special discount to viewers of this channel. You can get a bonus 3 months for free when you use offer code SKILLUP at checkout. That's a bonus 3 months for free when you use offer code SKILLUP at surfshark.deals/skillup. Thanks Surfshark for sponsoring the video, and thank you for watching it.
Thank you for watching it. I love this song for some reason. This song sounds so good to me. I want to do a rap song to this song. I love this song. I want to do a song. I'm gonna steal this song from him. But he probably owns it. This is the problem. I want to do a fucking rap song to that. That's such a good fucking track.
Today's video is brought to you by our friends over at Brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, if you ever wanted to just learn something in a fun, effective way without watching just a boring lecture video on the internet that probably puts you to sleep faster than anything else, well, that's where our friends over at Brilliant are here, with actual content that is crafted by an award-winning team of teachers, researchers, professionals from MIT to Caltech to Duke to Microsoft, all the way to Google. Critical thinking is an incredibly important part about learning, and not only just problem solving as well. These are very important pillars. Some people think memorizing is the only thing you have, but the reality of it is Brilliant provides you tons of options at your own pace, really. So whether you're a beginner to a topic or an absolute advanced expert, then you will have an entire course and challenge tailored to you. Developing a powerful learning habit is an absolute important part. It's like working out. You gotta learn a little bit every day and you gotta build yourself up. And there's a bunch of lessons available. You can look at things like data science. You can look at programming. You might even want to learn how LLMs work in an AI as well. And of course, thinking about where to start might be the first obstacle you have to cross. Try everything Brilliant has to offer for a free full 30 days. Check out brilliant.org/SOG or just click the link in the description. And you'll also get 20% off an annual premium subscription. That said, let's head into the video. Today's video is centered around Opera GX, ladies and gentlemen, a deep dive into one of the most popular gaming internet browsers that is currently available. Now, to give you an idea, Opera is a company that has been around since the mid-90s, really, since the beginning of the internet for the general user. To give you an idea, Opera's first release was April 10th, 1995, meaning that it is almost as old as me, ladies and gentlemen, 30 years old myself. So, me and Opera, we grew up in the same sandbox, so to speak. Now, you probably know a lot about Opera GX from its saucy brand account, where they absolutely roast the Payday 3 player base, the remaining few that there are, and they call Sneeko an entire cuckold. So again, this might be a big positive for some people that a gaming community browser is topped this hard into the community. And of course, if you can appreciate a little bit of that edginess, it's right there waiting for you. But again, you've probably also seen your favorite content creators talk about Opera GX's browser, its GX Corner functionality, the ability for you to limit certain functionalities to get, I assume, better performances, and you've probably seen massive collaborations with big superhero companies like Bot International. But again, you also just have probably went to their website and wanted to understand how you get an unparalleled gaming and browsing experience, and if setting those limits on your hardware is really all that important when most of it is controlled by an actual scheduler anyways, but those are things we'll dive into a little bit into the video. Is using Discord and Twitch really important from the sidebar? Is this the browser for gamers? I really wanted to see if this was really going to give me a tangible benefit or if this is just marketing gimmicks. Opera is not new to gaming browsers. In fact, if you were a proud user of the original Nintendo Wii, you probably used the internet channel and used an Opera browser itself. Heck, if you had a Nintendo DS, you could actually buy the Nintendo web browser.
The Wii had a good browser.
Just an Opera browser that you could use to browse 4chan or really any dodgy website using your Nintendo DS. Nowadays, most modern game consoles, I'm looking at you, Sony and Nintendo, don't even have web browsers built in. But I guess that's
wait, what? The PS4 had a web browser. Does the PS5 not have a web browser? That is fucked up. That's fucked up. That is so fucked up. Like, I don't know. That's fucked up. a crafting skill, sure. I guess. I'm full again, and I need to go dump again. It's so stupid. I can't leave the area now. I better just get the credit and go. I guess I could put a box down. Oh, I hear a zombie. Like right here, too. Oh my god. No, don't do that. Oh, whatever. Yeah, don't do that. I want to put out a box. So I'll drop this, like, bone right now. And I'll come out and I'll make a box. Box. Wood. Clay block. I want a box. No. How about storage? Oops. Storage. Wood storage crate. Left. Okay, then put it here. Storage. Oh, damn it. I gotta fix the mouse thing. Fucking annoying. Okay, so something's going on with the mouse where vehicle zoom acceleration is 1. Zoom sensitivity should just be 1. Zoom acceleration should just be 1. Yeah, there. That's the same thing as this, isn't it? Yeah, it's like the same thing. There, much better. Much better. Now, I could slow it down. You know, I could cut it down to half, I guess. The zoom acceleration could go down to 50.50 and see. How does it feel with that? It doesn't feel any different. No, it does. That is not half the rate, though. First, I have to get, like, some switch or something. Apparently, it's upstairs, I think. So I guess we'll go upstairs. It's getting dark. Some switch or something. Ah! Nice, that's good that he missed! Ah. Cool, he like blew up and did a bunch of structural damage. Fucking sweet. Here's the next one. Ah! Oh. It's too high. The graphics are too high, maybe, because I'm occasionally getting... Yeah, I'm getting, like, bad frame rate loss occasionally. So we're going to turn it down. Something's too high, I guess. That sucks. Maybe we better turn it down. It's too big of a world, maybe. Terrain quality... I want to turn down... Yeah, performance impact is high. Oh, performance impact is high. Yeah, we turn that to low. Cannot be changed while in game. Occlusion is off. Boost indoor performance inclusion. Okay. So I want you. Well, I don't want to quit right now, so we'll go worry about that. But we'll turn some of the settings down because some of the frame rate's not good. I should have crouched. Okay, so we're just gonna keep looting in the hopes that it stacks, and I have some room, so I love this game. Light's a factor and everything. I love realism. It feels a lot more fun to me. Oh god. Oh god. Fuck you. Nice, not bad. So 3 games open, it does get some performance problems, but I will definitely run this game lower, and I will restart and do all that in a minute. Now I can restart, because I have the... I'll clear the infested area. I've got the credit now. Yeah, I do. I have an infection growing, which is bad. I'll have to learn how to do... Or I could just die. I can let it, like, kill me. It's fine. I see a lot of this... So what else? Let's move over here. I need to... Yep. Did you send all those? Yeah, you did. Okay, sent. Okay, good. Now log over. Oh, no, don't log over. I want you to buy more crystals while I listen to him.
You know, single one benefit really is that you can actually browse Google and play a video game.
So I got to go back and I got to focus and I got to get home because the zombie night's about to start and I have to get to the position now. Now, why is suddenly my light not working? Oh, no, the flashlight. Yep. I gotta get out of here. I'm done. Okay, go talk to the trader, but first... Yep. And then forge ahead is something that he wants. Oh, no, I'm going to just use it. And then you over you. Oh, good. You, I want you to use. Mechanical parts will go there. Wire tool over, say, the peas I'll use, and I'll take that. Take those, I don't know. Take and eat that. Go. Take and eat the vitamins. Take and... Oh, no. Use the corn. Machete parts is good. And the rest of it, I think I can leave here. Gunpowder is really good. I feel... Oh, helmet light mod. That's good. And so we come to my helmet and we take out this cigar. Oh no. Oh god. I have to go. Go. Fuck it. Just go. Just go. Oh god. I don't know if this is gonna work. Yeah. Oh. That's weird. Do boxes ever go away? Oh god. Oh, better get out and fight it. Go. Go. God damn it. You're so annoying. Go. Why? You're so stupid, fucking developers. You are so annoying. Okay, back up. I don't know. Go. I'm already getting pushed again. Let's go. Oh god. Oh. Go, I don't want to die. I need to use... I can't while I'm biking. I don't know about this. I might have to pick up, but, So we went the wrong way, but that's okay. I accept it. This is a lot more fun. I like the challenge. Go. Come on, man. Go. It's too late. I already pushed the Horde Night. It's alright. I'm going to push it another 6 hours past, which is like another 6 days or something like that, I think, actually. I can't get in, can I? No, not at all. Whoa. I suddenly can't run for whatever reason. Please go. Get on the bike and go. Ugh. Good. Go. Okay, fucking, gotta dump, R, nope. They're gonna attack my base. That's a bad idea, so go, and then I go south. Oh god. Go. Where's the Horde base? I can't remember. Is it like... Oh god, where is the Horde base? I can't remember. Oh, isn't that it? That's it. Gotta get the boxes there. There we go. We go. Blah, blah, blah. Please. Whoa, okay. Come on. Oh, damn it. Go, go. Come on, man. Ah! Please let me up the fucking ladder. Please. No. Please. Go. Go up the fucking ladder. Up, 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 up. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Ah, you're so annoying. So then, gotta get to you and use. Come on, man. You're so annoying. What? Ha ha ha! How did you miss that? It's like they're like RNG. It's stupid. Get away. Away. Away with you. And they just keep falling. Good, it's almost over. This was long. This was like half an hour or something. Ah, you're so annoying. How are you missing that? I want to do the rest with like a stun baton. I can't reach them. Maybe spears? Nope, spears can't reach these. Oh well, but bows can. Okay. God damn it. Yay. There was the Horde Knight. Took 2 med kits, 30, 40 shots, something like that, and about 100 arrows. It wasn't too bad. Got 2 armored up and a Ranger's Guide to Archery. Yeah, bow's grade 20% slower. I take that. Tech plan, it improves robotics crafting. Yep, and so cool. That was good. Let's go turn in. It's time to go see the trader. And right on. My first solo Horde Night. I think most people will be stressed out beyond belief, but because I have good social connections, good friends that I've known for 20 years, you know, I was able to just go right through it and use their oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't fix the tower where it was messed up. So we'll go do that. We'll go, you must repair this before picking it up. What about just breaking it? Can you break it? Yeah. And then I want to go blah, 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 blah. Okay. And burp. Okay. And, oh, there's an arrow right there. Oh, yeah. Is there any arrows here? So, where I saw must have been where they did their Horde Night. That's interesting. I guess you can always just go up some blocks. Yeah, you can probably always go up some blocks and just stand up there until they knock it down. And then you probably, the worst you get is a spring. You just go back up again. That's probably a valid way to deal with that. I mean, they're always probably trying to break the blocks, so it would kind of suck. You'd have to build the pillar pretty thick, maybe, like 4 deep, but it'd be a while before they knocked you down, maybe. I don't know. Like, long enough to waste, like, 2 hours, and then you could just, you know, do up again long enough. Like, all you would have to do is build up, like, no, what's wrong? Oh, I'm out of stamina. I'm right? You go up, like, 5, 6, right? Yep, you just go up 5 or 6 where the fall won't even hurt you, probably. Yeah, what's that? That's like a 1-story house, right? And then you can probably just be safe from the Horde long enough until they knock the blocks off, in which case they crumble and knock you down. I mean, that might work. They might have systems in place to prevent that. Oh, I've got room, so I'm gonna run over here and do this flag that I set because I want to go get that. Expose market. I don't want to go in there yet. Okay, so this is where I dug the... Let me see, where's my shovel at? Yeah. That's stone, so what about... Oh, that's how you get stone really fast? Okay. Is it all stone? Yeah, it must be. So... Okay. Now let's go back to the trader. Should be open now. I thought I set a setting to options. Maybe it's keyboard and mouse and movement. So the sprint lock is on. Yes. Health and stamina. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So when I'm moving.
Well,
Holy
look here,
shit.
boys.
I thought
we got
you
ourselves
were
a
a
real-life
zombie.
hero, and now he wants to be paid.
I need lock picks. I don't know, handyland, improves repair tool, improves trap crafting. I think I want to do gunpowder. Or no, I want to do... Well, no, we can make lock picks out of metal, though. I think gunpowder is the best thing, really. Yeah. Do you have any jobs? We will do a T2 fetch clear. 102
Look,
meters
Buckhead,
away.
Don't just stand there with your thumb up your ass.
Yep. Okay, so now we can kind of go back and focus on other stuff now that the Horde Night's over.
Game at the same time. What a novel concept. But of course, Opera GX is not designed for PlayStation 5 or Nintendo Switch or even the Xbox Series systems. In fact, if anything, Opera GX is basically just a browser for PC gamers who want to have extra gaming benefits.
So I have to go get
the
my
ability
bike.
to optimize their Chrome browser so that it doesn't chew up all of the RAM available on their system, and of course, provide you with a whole slew of features that I'll say many other browsers don't provide. Now, there's been a lot of controversy surrounding Opera GX in the last few years. Allegations of Chinese spyware, the ability for your personal information to be sold on the open market, basically by this one company. These are very, very serious claims. And I want to take the time today to really dig in and kind of answer the question, is Opera GX really worth getting? Now, for full, transparency's sake, I have been offered sponsorships by Opera GX before. I'm actually, I would say, on pretty friendly terms with the Opera GX social media manager. Opera GX is very
You probably won't be
in tune
anymore.
with the gaming community.
After
Now,
your
that
title.
being said, you might be like, Mudo, why didn't you just take the bag and decide to, promote Opera GX? It would have been an easy amount of money that you could make.
And you're right, it can't always be a lot of money. But the thing about sponsorships on this channel is, for one, I have to be able to actually use the product, right? Unfortunately, with Opera GX, it only is available for Windows and Mac, alright? How much gaming are you doing on a Mac, even compared to Linux these days? It doesn't have a Linux port. And the other thing is, also with sponsorships, it goes without saying, I can never accept an actual software or an account that comes from the actual sponsor. It always has to be something that is bought at our company through an unidentifiable account or a credit card, right? So we get the experience that the viewer will as soon as they, purchase a service. Now, looking at Opera GX's forums, there clearly is interest in Linux, like 134,000 views on this one thread where people do want to know and they want Opera GX on their Linux systems. Now, again, it's wild to me that looking into Opera GX, a lot of the source isn't even really available for this browser. Like, if I go to Opera Software, they definitely talk about, things like the SSH key authority, the DNS UI. Nothing necessarily is over here for the Opera browser itself as compared to, Brave browser, which you can download the source for right here. Microsoft Edge, where you can download the source as well too. So I really feel that in a world of open source operating systems, not operating systems, but open source web browsers being the norm, I don't really feel comfortable using something that doesn't really put itself out there for scrutiny by everyone around them. So these are just a few examples of why I can never take a sponsorship from Opera GX and why I don't personally use it. I can't use it, and out of principle, it just doesn't, I wouldn't even want to.
Okay, so that all being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to Opera GX. Now, if you actually go to their website here real quick, Opera GX is a browser built specifically for gamers. Get an unparalleled gaming and browsing experience on mobile and desktop. Set limits on CPU, RAM, and network usage. Use Discord and Twitch from the sidebar. So here I've got a Windows virtual machine because anytime I use software like this, I always have a specific virtual machine because, again, if I don't trust a piece of software, I'm going to keep it contained and locked in its own ecosystem. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is my computer right now. Let me give you a fat neo-fetch. I am in fact an Arch Linux user. Now, if you look carefully into the system, you can see that I've got a Ryzen 9 5950X with 32 threads, an NVIDIA RTX 4090 GPU, and about 128 gigabytes of system memory. Now, this is an incredibly overkill system, so for some reasonable scientific understanding, I want to know how much Opera GX actually consumes. And I also want to see what it would reasonably run like on an average gaming computer. So I'm going to look at the Steam hardware survey and kind of make a virtual machine that almost approximates what I'm looking at. So here you can see that the most popular OS is Windows 10 64-bit. I'm running Windows 11. System RAM is 16 gigabytes. So I'm actually going to do 16. I think it's 384 to exactly match, what is the system memory of an average user. So around 16 gigabytes. Now, of course, it says physical CPUs as 6. I'm going to assume that means, 6 actual, CPU, or that would mean 6 CPUs, but also dual cores. So around 12 threads, 6 CPUs, and of course, each of them being, multi-threaded, so 2 cores per CPU. And if you look at the actual GPU, I have a 4090, so this is going to be something that is obviously outside the norm. Now, ladies and gentlemen, with all that being said, we're going to basically set this up and ready to go, and we're going to fire up this virtual machine and basically run through Opera GX. So setting up the browser was pretty simple. I went through theming the system, basically selecting what I wanted enabled. For some reason, I couldn't import my actual information for Brave. It could literally detect every single browser on my system but the fucking Brave browser. Don't know what that's all about, but that's pretty much the world we sat into. Now, once that's done, I actually had Opera GX ready to go, and immediately starting it up, it actually begins pretty quickly. Now, Opera GX, right here from the get-go, has this kind of a style going for it. It's a bit of a gamer-oriented style. Hell, the actual default homepage is the GX Corner, which again gives you release information for various games, lets you play some free games, and if you're listening real closely, it actually has its own sound effects. In fact, if you go up here and just type in Google, that's not me editing in a sound effect. That is actually sound effects built into a fucking web browser. Now, if you go to the settings right over here, the first thing you absolutely should do before you stick knives into your ears is probably go out and, disable the keyboard sounds and disable those browser sounds. So looking into it real carefully, it's got a whole bunch of theme options. Beyond all of it, it's also got a lot of privacy and security features. So like a built-in ad blocker, which works relatively well, about as well as any other Chrome browser's ad blocking functionality. So if YouTube ads scare you, or any ad on the internet, you've got the options. It's also got the ability to block various trackers if you wanted to, and a free VPN service. But we'll look into that a little bit later. It's got a bit of video and photo enhancements through something known as RGX, and like most tech products these days, it's got fucking artificial intelligence built right in. Now on the left-hand side, you could basically add in multiple social media services, so if you wanted to use Twitter, God forbid, within your browser, you can. If you wanted to access Discord with the boys, you can, just by going to the Discord app and hitting continue in browser. So mind you, nothing here is effectively so mind-blowing. Like this tab over here effectively leads you to Spotify. It just opens another tab for anybody that just wants to have music playing in the side on their system. And again, there's a bunch of different variants that you can involve, so you can go and dig up YouTube Music. One thing you might be noticing is, whoa, Moodle, what's up with your browser? Is there like a GPU error going on? No, actually, the browser is so customizable, you can actually install a whole bunch of different mods that changes the background music, the keyboard sounds. If that interests you, wallpaper's okay, browser sounds, the theme, and something known as shaders. So when you're browsing the internet, you can add things like chromatic aberration and glitches and a whole bunch of fucking shaders to your actual browsing experience. I love this one for San Andreas. It's just a money effect flying around. Yeah. Oh boy, that's what I want to see when I browse the internet. Just dollar bills falling. It's kind of insane how you can just like add even more. Like, what does 8-bitter do? Oh, hell yeah, dude. Oh, this is gangster. Oh, book a road test. Let's go, dude. Oh man, you can barely read what's written here. This is fun for like 50 seconds maybe. After that, it's just gonna burn your eyes out. Now, look, all memes aside, okay, beyond all the shaders and graphical controls, one of the big selling points is GX control in here. So what this allows you to effectively do is monitor the CPU usage and the RAM usage of the tabs that you have open. Now, this is a big feature that they absolutely like to showcase, where it allows gamers to basically identify the pressure points in their browser and optimize things. So obviously you've got, your hot tabs killer, so if you wanted to destroy that drive test, tab, because it's using 53 megs, it's gone, it's slashed. Now if you look at the network limiter, you can see that obviously you can control how much bandwidth your device uses. You've got a RAM limiter, so if you wanted to, for some reason, kill the RAM usage of the browser all the way down to, I don't know, let's say 1.5 gigs, it'll warn you. You can give it a hard limit, which will actually suspend and kill tabs in the background. But again, you can also go down and, basically tell it to limit CPU usage. So if you wanted to say, hey, listen, go all the way down to 17% of my usage, it will kill the actual performance. So you can see that it is, in fact, sluggish. So if I turn that off, it'll actually be much more easier to use. So these do work, but ultimately I feel like this is going to be a placebo effect, and I'll explain why. As far as CPU limiters go, this is honestly not a required feature. Most modern operating systems like Windows, Mac, or Linux are pretty good with scheduling systems. Now, a process scheduler, or just a scheduler in general for an operating system, is literally, it's designed to basically, put certain processes above others and schedule it in a way where usually higher, required processes, processes that are typically more of a priority, get more, system resources, or usually are brought in, first for the next time slices. So this is usually done at an operating system level, right? And again, you can read further into this because it is a very, very, very complicated read-up.
most operating systems, if not all of them, whether you use, Linux's kernel, whether you're a Mac OS user, whether you're a Windows user, you typically should rely on the actual OS to handle all of this. It's never, in my opinion, beneficial to get in the way and try to force a game-boosting software to affect any process in the way. And generally, even looking on Stack Exchange from some pretty reputable, individuals talking into this for game development, they've usually said, in games, we treat the OSs out of our hands. We trust the OS vendors to make sufficiently good choices to support the apps their customers.
Why did it go to
want
600
use.
when I was
So
buying
choosing
them?
a scheduler is generally not a problem that game developers solve. If you're making a game and have run into a problem along the way, they can help and basically jump into this. So again, when I look at game boosting software like from Razer, for instance, right, where the entire idea is, hey, we're going to manage and stop non-essential processes and apps, free up valuable resources, and RAM for a smoother experience. I always think all of these tools are effectively just placebos, and jumping in front of your operating system and forcing it to effectively, kill certain applications or, manage RAM and manage processes for you is usually more of a hindrance rather than a help. And there's software that I just don't trust in general, right? Like, again, game boosting software, while it is a placebo, I really don't want any random software off the internet to just control what I'm doing on my system or start to make changes. Even if it's something where, again, I have to route my information through a certain VPN or proxy because I could suddenly get better latency, it's just, again, I really don't think the juice is worth the squeeze. And of course, then you get into weird situations where, again, these websites look like they're straight up pulled out of like the early 2000s, like a free game speed up tool, close startups, free memory, tune up your network. And again, a lot of these are just basic fixes that you don't even need a application for anyways. Now, I want to preface this by saying that I'm not a scientist in a lab here, so again, if you have any objections with the testing methodologies, feel free to tell me in the comment section below. But in this situation, we wanted to just test if this browser was giving, actually better performance versus its competitors, or was this all within the margin of error and all of these CPU and GPU limiters are just effectively marketing gimmicks. So at this moment in time, I wanted to pit a bunch of browsers against each other. Firefox, Opera GX, Microsoft Edge, Brave Browser, Google Chrome, and the ungoogled Chrome project, which you can download and build yourself. So the way that we tested this was we didn't have any extensions, anything running, just the browser at default settings. The only caveat being that I disabled all the ad blockers and the anti-trackers because I felt that these would add unnecessary extensions and memory usage, which would be unfair if you're comparing totally naked browsers with, these, bloated browsers in a way too. I did this because I consider ad blocking and ad tracking to be extensions, but that's really, my opinion right here. So in this quick and dirty test over here, one thing we did was just run a 1080p version of the video that you're seeing right here on the screen. Again, running in a loop, exact same quality for all these browsers, just one tab with the video open. And again, if you look at the actual memory consumption, what is surprisingly alarming to me is the fact that Firefox is actually so resource intensive. Basically consuming most of the memory that we've seen. In fact, the CPU usage on higher was was on average higher. Now, obviously, Opera GX in this situation is probably the worst of the Chrome browsers if we're looking at, the memory usage in this situation.
Your inventory is full.
But again, after that comes obviously Microsoft Edge, then the Brave browser, and surprisingly Google Chrome, which people have always really touted as one of the most bloated browsers in this situation, or, in general.
Google's
obviously
not
dead
bloated.
last in the ringer was Chromium, which obviously is de-Googled. It is as base as you can get, built straight from the source. So that was really the one video test. Now, obviously, we're gamers here on this channel, so chances are if you're using a gaming browser, you probably also do some gaming as well. Now, in this situation, I'm playing Cyberpunk 2077, which is something that I would play while I would have something on the second monitor usually if I'm going through side missions and gigs. Now, in this situation, I decided to set the actual game's resolution to 1080p. Everything is effectively maxed out, and I'm running the game with the Psycho settings for ray tracing modes. Now, I don't have the path tracing enabled, nor do I have DLSS frame generation enabled, because I don't know what that does to frame rate testing necessarily. It might just screw things up a little bit. So I decided to just keep things pretty sweet and simple. Now, in this situation, the way that I tested each and every single browser was I effectively had a stream open at 1080p. So here's Charlie, say hi. I'm watching him on a, on a separate monitor right here. Just imagine he's playing 1080p live stream. It's running encoding right now. And I made sure this was standard 1080p for every single browser by forcing YouTube to go that route. The other thing is, obviously, I also put in another tab, which is the standard default tab that each browser would have, just to see if they would really add more bloat to these systems too, or how they deviate things. Now, in the situation, obviously, running Cyberpunk 2077 without any form of internet browsing runs the game at around 74 frames per second. I tested this using the in-game benchmark for every single run, okay? Just because the open world nature of the game, if I were to test in the world, there would be so many dynamic things that it would just render any form of benchmarking pointless. Now, with Opera GX running, you can see that on average, these browsers consume around 8 to 10% of the CPU as they're, transcoding this video. Now, obviously, I've enabled things like hardware acceleration for these systems. That being said, I made sure that all of the defaults were pretty much enabled. The only thing that isn't enabled, from my understanding on here, is, again, those ad blocking and the anti-tracking functionality, because I believe those to be just separate extensions. Now, Opera GX came out to be 68 frames, which is great. In fact, out of all the browsers we've done, it is the best test. Now, Brave came in at 66 frames, Chrome came in at 66 frames, Edge came in at 65 frames, and Firefox came in at 65 frames as well. Now, the reason why none of this is super impressive is this is well within the margin of error. Now, I tried Opera GX a second time, and the frame rate was surprisingly as low as Firefox and Edge. So clearly, it doesn't necessarily mean that each and every single run is going to be perfect. There's going to be deviances. There's going to be, again, things that fall within that margin of error. So what have I learned? That even with these, gaming-oriented browsers, it's not so much their CPU limitations and RAM limitations you have to worry so much about. By forcing those limitations, all you're doing is causing a hindrance onto the browser itself. Now, sure, you could force Opera to necessarily kill the CPU usage by a big fraction, but the thing is, it's only going to hurt your quality of watching a live stream on YouTube, or if you just have any browsing on the side, which I don't think people want at the end of the day. Now, realistically, you can imagine that as you put more load onto your system, the worse the performance is necessarily going to get. If you started to play 4K video across the board, HDR and everything, I'm sure the performance for your games will just consistently keep tanking. But everything that I've seen here so far falls far within that margin of error, and really no matter what browser you go with, especially in the Chromium, stage, you'll be fine, even with Firefox, and I'm sure, if you extrapolate this to Vivaldi, a bunch of other different browsers, it's going to all give you the same stuff. So one thing that I wanted to look at even closer with Opera GX was the one tab that I just seemingly couldn't close, which was the GX Corner app. So let's actually look at this with a closer lens. Now, if you look carefully over here, starting up Opera GX, the first thing you actually see is this corner, right? So again, I'm just going to start it fresh, brand new, go to Opera GX, and of course you can see it begins with a GX Corner. Now, obviously, if you go into the settings page right over here, you can actually go all the way down to full browser settings, and if you look at things like the GX Corner, for instance, just searching for it, what you can do is you can stick that into a sidebar, but it really doesn't seem like you can turn anything off. And based on what I've seen with, again, other systems and, older posts, maybe it was disabled at one point, or you could actually turn it off. The point is, it exists and permeates in, Opera GX at any moment. So alongside having one tab, you always have a GX Corner tab that's also open as well. Now, one thing I also wanted to say is when I installed this, it actually had this setting defaulted, run when my computer starts. Now, I have never had to use a browser where it needed to install or run whenever my computer was operating. This is not something I am ever comfortable with, and I wanted to talk about it because it was something that was weird to me. This is the only time I ever had to go into the startup settings for my Windows installation and actually find where Opera GX was just to basically disable it. Now, you can't see it over here anymore, but since I've disabled it,
But yeah, this was something here. Anyways, going back to Opera GX, a quick little view of this is what you get is a release calendar. So if you want to obviously, look at what's coming up in the, future when it comes to gaming, you can do that on, for Windows, I can see, games that are coming out. Like for instance, July 11th, I get Angerfoot. And obviously you can, include other consoles like PlayStation, Xbox. I find it funny Linux is in here because they don't actually have a Linux version of this browser, but they definitely will showcase upcoming Linux games. And again, if you look at what they offer more, they've got entire game sections. You can play games like Burning Motor, so you just click over here, it loads up the GX Games application, and you can play, again, Flash games or anything inside here. So if you wanted to experience the new ground era, it's all available inside the GX corner, okay? Now, if you go back to the GX corner, you can see that they got the free-to-play section. So again, it links you to free-to-play versions of video games, like if you want to play Genshin Impact. Now here you can see that I can't reach sites. Now, if you remember a while back, I made a video where I showcased, the pie hole where I made network-wide ad blocking. These are affiliate links, meaning that this is all designed, from my understanding, to effectively benefit Opera. Okay, they're basically, from my understanding, making money off of it. According to their terms, while the browser is free, they make money off of actual advertising.
Your
and again,
inventory is full.
A little bit shady, for instance, not shady necessarily. Where it gets a little bit weird too is like, oh, look at that, Jedi Survivor is free. Okay, wait, is it really free? Oh, I have to go to Microsoft through this link and just sign up for Game Pass. So I don't know if you can necessarily even call that free. But you have to ask yourself if this is necessarily something that you consider worth it. Obviously, GX Corner is their own video series. You can watch their VTuber. And again, it's all centered around upcoming games and whatnot. Now, do I think that you should have this available
Your
at any
inventory
moment?
is full.
Obviously, as I'm browsing tabs, for instance, if I'm, entering google.com and I'm opening multiple tabs right here. I got a bunch of tabs, blah, 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 blah. Let me just search for random stuff here. Mudahar. You can see that I've got, 3 tabs open, but I really have 4 tabs at the end of the day. So if I close all these, I ultimately come to the GX corner. So you really have to ask yourself if this is a necessity and if this is really something that you consider ultimately useful. Now, when it comes to the topic of privacy, I wanted to just show you where you can actually get a quick idea of open source tests for web browser privacy. Now, this is privacytest.org, and if you're looking carefully, we're just going to stick to the desktop browsers. But over on the top, you can see that they cover, tests for iOS, Android, and the various nightly builds, which are nightly releases of development versions of said browsers. Now, out of all these browsers, Opera GX isn't listed, but the closest is obviously going to just be Opera 111, which is Opera GX, from my understanding, without the GX stuff added into it. It's the standardized Opera browsing experience, which is still based on Chromium. Now, out of all these browsers, there's only a couple here that actually get the full check list. You can see in the state partitioning tests, Brave, Firefox, LibreWolf, Mulvad, iOS's Safari, not iOS, but Apple Safari, and Tor actually succeed throughout all of these tests. Navigation-wise, you can see that none of these tests are completely ironclad. HTTPS tests, only 3 browsers pass: LibreWolf, Mulvad, and Tor. So when it comes to safety and security and privacy and anti-tracking and ad blocking, or really anything, Opera itself isn't even an industry leader. And again, if privacy was your important concern, you should probably use something like LibreWolf, which is, from my understanding, Firefox-based, or just straight up stick to Mulvad. And again, the ultimate privacy test is ultimately just using Tor browser. So again, for anybody that wants to, use privacy as a selling point, I wouldn't even recommend Brave, which is what I typically use. If privacy is your concern, and you want to have the utmost security, and you don't want to have anybody that tracks you whatsoever, maybe it is time you go to an anti-tracking browser, or you go to Firefox or something in that basis. So in that department, I also wanted to bring this up as well. Now moving on,
I don't know where I got these skins. But I've got 500 mil worth of skins here for some reason. I don't know, that I don't need. I don't know. I think I will begin to hypernet these. Yeah. So, I didn't even notice that. Wow. I don't remember where I got these or what. You say 451, 823. Okay. Yeah, fuck it. Let's put it on the hypernet until they flip. And if they don't, whatever. You know? $99.5. You say 132. $114. One of these is completed for 29, but I need to ask for 146. Let's see if $190, $200. Estimated is 144. You want 290. Completed is 176. 176. We'll try for completed. Oh, look, these skins might make me quite a lot of money. That's good. I got a whole bunch of Master at Arms back, which is fine. Stack all, right? Oh yeah, look. Ooh, more BPOs and stuff. I keep making money and stuff and blueprints and all that stuff. All those things, while interesting, I don't believe I need, so I'll just take the money now. Yep. Thank you. And we'll hypernet this. Oops, go away. We'll hypernet that for, these are completing for 73. There's been 10 completed offers for 73. What is the market though? The market is 7.4. So I could get away with double, I guess, 14 mil. We'll control C for this, yeah. 14 mil. I don't think I can do click lock. Actually, I think it's going to mess me up too bad. I think I've got to change it. It's unfortunate. But maybe during mining, it's good. I don't know. Well, no, I do like it. I do like it. Maybe I can learn to live with it. I don't know. It's sensitive, but... have a skill. Okay. Okay, let's go do, no, I can't do click lock. Click lock's cool. But, I want to go back to mouse again. Yeah, this was cool. It was a cool experiment. Mouse settings. And then we come to additional mouse settings. You can turn, oh, no, wait, you can turn the settings on. Just how long you need to hold down the mouse or try before your click is locked. Yeah, there we go. Do that. There we go. Very long, right? So, like, let's test this out, right? Yeah, this thing is not really working like that. 3, 2, 3. One, 2. Yeah, so 2 seconds. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. I think I could do click lock with a 3-second pause, yeah. And then, yep, and 1, 2, 3. Now I'm out of stam. I've got 2 of these. I've got all these greens and stuff that like. Oh yeah, all these specialty things. Maybe I should just take the money now. This is my whole contract, is it? Yeah, I think it is. And you cut this down short for some reason. Locked it. Yeah, I don't want to make this bigger again. Yeah, like that. Look at all that. Is it the whole contract and everything? No, it's not the whole contract. It's just, well, what are these going for? There's been 7 completed ever. And like, I don't know. These are worth $1 million, so you could get 4.5. Yeah, let's see if they'll sell for that. I don't know. Are hypercores worth that much? I don't know. You say it's worth 84 million? I don't think so. Get this off the screen.
One of the important things that was mentioned was the VPN that Opera has. Now,
Opera's got a VPN
built into their system,
wow.
Which, from my understanding, is more so a proxy than it is a traditional VPN, where as soon as you flip on the free VPN or paid from Opera, it all exists within the scope of the browser. Now, there is no reason to be surprised by this. Most browser VPNs do this, or just proxies to something else. Now, based on how Opera GX works, they claim that they do not store any log whatsoever. Now, this kind of goes on into, again, trusting them, right? One of the reasons why I don't take VPN sponsorships anymore, unless it's, you know, Mulvad, for instance, they came up and sponsored us. The only way I could ever take a VPN sponsorship is if your company has actually been raided by the state police, and you did not have to hand over a single shred of data. That is the only way to trust any of these companies, period, at least in my opinion. So I don't have anything to dog about Opera's VPN, aside from the fact that obviously I don't trust any free VPN service. A free VPN service typically means you are the product. But it's probably great, like most free VPNs, for, again, getting rid of geo-blocking restrictions. Like, for instance, if you want to watch American Netflix, but you live in Canada, you can bypass those geo-restrictions, you know, provided that Netflix doesn't stop you, and same thing for any other service. But when it comes to actually, you know, privacy, right, like making sure that you're logging into, I don't know, the IRS, your banks, or something really sensitive, I wouldn't recommend any VPN. Unless it's like Mulvad. That's probably the only thing I can, like, put my money towards. And that's because they've been raided by the feds, and they never had to give up any information. So that's, like, the only thing going for them, right? But yeah, that's really where I stand on with the privacy and whatnot. And now the next big conspiracy that was kind of brought up, and this is really huge, is the allegations of Chinese spyware. Now, one thing I want to talk about, obviously, is Opera and the Chinese spyware allegations. So, according to Opera's Wikipedia page, they actually talk about how in 2016 they were acquired by an investment group led by a Chinese consortium. So, 2 of the actual groups listed here was Kunlun Tech and Kihu 360. Now, in 2022, Opera actually started purchasing some of their shares back, but if you go to Kunlun Tech's company page, you can actually see that Opera is listed as, you know, basically right on their company, okay? And this is Kunlun Tech. They are China's leading internet platform overseas enterprise. Now, obviously, the fear here is because a Chinese organization has money put into it, China's national intelligence law can basically ask any company under their wing to, you know, governments can say, hey, give us that piece of data on this specific person over national intelligence, and you have to comply. Now, the thing about this is Opera has actually made a debunking page, which I think is a pretty good debunk of this entire situation. Now, what they talk about is they are a European company headquartered in Oslo, Norway. Now, because they're part of the EEA, which is the European Economic Area, you basically have to be compliant with something known as GDPR, which is one of the strongest data protection frameworks in the world. So because the company is headquartered in Norway, the law basically protects, you know, people internationally, even if you're in the United States, because they're a European company, the data is routed through them, that because of their, you know, GDPR standards, because of the law, they have to give you privacy preservation and data protection regulations. Now, the thing about this whole situation, too, is going down further. They also talk about the fact that they are obviously traded publicly on these.
No, I like ClickLock.
And the thing is, if they weren't transparent about any of this stuff, then this could absolutely harm them financially. Actually, it would be very illegal for them to lie to shareholders. So I feel just off of these 2 points, it's not necessarily something that I can say is, like, the whole thing about spyware is, look, at the end of the day, if you use software from China or the United States even, or really any big country, there's a chance that you are getting spied on, obviously, right? There's a chance for it. And this is probably the best response that the company could actually put forward. You know, this is not going to convince somebody that was already staunchly, you know, against Opera. But I think it's a fair response that they can give by basically telling people, look, it's if you don't trust us, trust the law, right? Which I think is a fair thing to say. A lot of companies follow GDPR compliance because breaking this law can absolutely destroy you in that part of the world, okay? So, again, to whittle it on into this situation, right? Clearly, if you're worried about the situation, you probably have more to worry about with installing a rootkit level antivirus on a or an anti-cheat on a big game that is financed by Tencent. Or if you're using TikTok, especially the mobile applications, you probably have more to worry about being spied from there than a browser like this, okay? That's realistically where my mind comes into in this situation. Now, one of the things that people brought up to me was the browser telemetry. Now, from 2021 on Size of Cat, they did a, again, experiment based on what telemetry these browsers were doing when they were initially fired up. So you can see on things like Firefox and Brave, there are connections on startups. And a lot of these connections are mostly towards the relative browser domain. So Mozilla communicates to Mozilla.com. Brave communicates to Brave.com. And of course, Opera is brought up. This isn't suspicious to me because a lot of these features are, again, things like weather at weather.opera-api.com, which if you have a weather application or a weather widget, it simply calls upon that in order to give you, you know, weather information in your relative area. So this isn't really suspicious. You can look at this as extra bloat you may not need in a browser you probably want to be completely optimized. But yeah, this is where my stance is on the Chinese spyware allegations. Again, I think Opera gave the best response that they could. And if you are worried about spyware, then maybe just don't trust this operator. Maybe don't trust this browser. But they gave the best actual response to this, personally, in my opinion.
So, at the end of the day, as I sit in the dark and ponder, is this worth, you know, absolutely pushing on to gamers? I think if you're somebody that's sponsored by Opera GX and you find it amazing, I want to preface this by saying there is no ill will to anybody, okay? You know, at the end of the day, I didn't want to make a hit piece on Opera. I simply wanted to actually research this for myself just to see if it was even worth considering as a sponsor. And look, even after with all the controversies, you know, things like the Chinese spyware allegations, which ultimately I think Opera had a great response to, I think after all the testing and seeing that it was no worse or better in terms of performance than any other browser, ultimately it never really, in my opinion, succeeded in any department. If you care about privacy, you might as well consider using Malvad or LibreWolf. And if you cared about efficiency, there were all those other Chromium browsers that were far more efficient in the long term. You know, if you wanted to use Brave or just regular Google Chrome, or just the Chromium Project browser without any connection to any, you know, big company or big group or consortium, then there were always better options. Now, when I look at things like the GX Corner, which again is just a tab that exists to keep release dates in mind, which, look, most people, they're going to know the release dates they care about anyways. I don't think a few Flash games is going to entice anyone, and I think free game offers and deals and links to their YouTube pages and channels isn't a help to anyone, and it's a feature that I think ultimately is probably not going to be used by many gamers out there. Now, when you look at things like the CPU limitations and the GPU limitations, I really feel like it's snake oil being peddled to gamers who think that these are things that are going to give them an edge, or it's going to make their systems better in general. Look, at the end of the day, your operating systems in general will do a far better job at managing your computer's resources than you will ever do in your own right. And most modern web browsers are very, very good in many departments anyways, okay? And even if Chrome uses up all of your RAM anyways, right? What the fuck is unused RAM there for? Just existing? It's fine. Your computer is going to manage things better. And in many cases,
even based on those Cyberpunk 2077 tests that I did, no browser was ever better or worse. In fact, every single one of them fit well within the margin of error. So you shouldn't really be thinking this is going to give you any advantage as a gamer. It's not going to give you any more privacy. It's not going to give you anything. I think as a browser, it might be a decent jack of all trades, but there are, in my opinion, far better options. So yeah, that's really all I have to say. Ultimately, look, I get a great laugh out of their social media teams, but as somebody who's, you know, one of my channel's pillars and brand is, you know, talking about computer safety and cybersecurity and safety and privacy, you know, with all of the history and baggage that this browser has, and again, one of the sole key facts is I'm not using something that is open source at the end of the day. I genuinely cannot recommend Opera GX. I don't trust it, I wouldn't use it, and I wouldn't recommend it. But hey, your computer is up to you. It's your choice. Use whatever you want. This is just my video. I wanted to get my piece out there. Not even a hit piece, I just wanted to get my findings out. So again, let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. If you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike if you dislike it. I am out.
Over this past weekend, a former Twitch employee came out on Twitter and alleged that Dr. Disrespect was a predator.
Wow. What a crazy day this has been.
And that is the reason that he was banned in 2020 in spite of having a large following and a contract even. And a lot of stuff has come out over the last couple days. I filmed a video yesterday and I was like, oh, this is all gonna be not irrelevant by the time I'm finished it. Yeah, Dr. Disrespect made a full-on response today and the truth has finally come out.
Now this Dr. Disrespect situation just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and it's now busted into the mainstream. Because what started as a small but meaningful part of another story yesterday blew up.
So we'll explain to you guys a little bit of the situation. It's not good. It's bad. Yet another one has fallen.
He's gonna learn from
Yet another one has
on
fallen.
exactly what this guy's deal is and why he's being talked about.
To put it into context, if you don't know who Dr. Disrespect is, he is a 42-year-old gamer that has a persona of some sort that is a doctor that disrespects people.
Play the game? Hey, why don't you go adjust your New Balance shoes? Your fat ankles. Shut your mouth. I'll play the game when I get to it.
And he is 42, has a wife, has a kid, and has had a family for a while. And
like
this is something he got.
You know,
this is really bad.
You know how we run things here.
goddamn. So sorry. Out there, I found what I was looking for. I was like, what the hell happened here? So did the other one fall too somehow? Let's see if the other one fell too somehow or something. I don't see it back there. No. Well, it was worth a look. You know, maybe it's in the other room. I'm gonna go look real quick. I'll be right back, guys.
We're closed, so fuck off.
Snack, but I don't know what it would be. Orange juice and milk. Yeah. Gonna make a drink. I'll be right back. Yeah. Orange leche drinks. I thought I would do something nice for myself this week, so I did orange leche drinks. Is my camera blurry? Is it dirty? I think it is dirty. I don't know. It looks okay to me. Bluetooth mode. Jump to Jita, Oggs, jump. Yes, please. And then I just want you to go out in an adventure. Board ship. Board ship. Cladistic. Oh, the fitting menu is so bad. Cladistic, drones. Yep, I got everything there. We're going to check her and get her adventure too. Board ship. View fitting. Good. Insure. Plat. Okay. And now I will add you to party. Yep. And we will undock. Orange leche drink. Gonna go out mining.
Drive active.
Yeah, making money on all 3 games. Oh yeah, baby. Why is my performance garbage suddenly? What's wrong with you? Why is my performance garbage suddenly? What's wrong with you? Huh? I don't know, but... There we go. I am thirsty and my stamina is not coming back, and plus I think I'm full of clay. Stop. And I am out of stamina. Where's the damn house? Oh, there we go. Okay, so clay soil. What does that sound? Anyways, clay and whatever iron that I got. Clay and 1600 iron. Oh, no, wait. I want to take a little bit of it on the side. There we go. And leave it. Just leave some raw iron for resources and leave some raw iron for resources, right? Yep, just, you know, just in case we need it. And then the rest of it I'm gonna iron, lead. Okay, we're gonna turn on when we have you. Oh, I guess you can't? No? Oh, okay. Oh, forged steel, nice. So then clay. iron. Oh, I have a bad sickness, which is no good. How do you make herbal antibiotics? So we come here and we say antibiotics, herbal antibiotics. I don't know how to make them, so I will succumb to the stuff eventually. I don't know. I don't have a way of making them. Track, right? Unlock options. Medical, 4 out of 60. I have to do medical unlock options. Okay, but I don't have any levels doing. Nope. I thought I did do into medicals, no? Perk books. Let's see. Okay, so, but I need fortitude. I don't know how to medical. Where's my medical skills? Harvesting, blades, traps, seeds, food seeds. Well, I hate that sound, so I'm gonna go fucking deal with them. Oh, damn it. Well, oh yeah, my arrows, huh? I need water. I can't do click lock. It'll drive me crazy. It'll be too annoying to me. Even the settings. Because once you're fighting with an arrow, or sorry, once you're fighting with a bow, it's like not too good. Okay, get my stamina back now. Go back to what I was doing. Oh, I have 245. Back to tab for a minute. Okay, there we go. We are leaving. Just gonna double check the clones one last time. Augs. Augs. Okay, good. We're good. Yep. And we can just go out and take a risk and try to make some money. Use. Activate. Go. Okay, good. We're currently in Como. Sounds good to me. If I D-scan,